Hi, this is Elizabeth Estel, Homeschool Christian Mom. How are you doing out there? I was reminded by my friend Lindsay that I've been talking to homeschoolers and trying to equate homeschooling with teaching your kids at home because of the coronavirus. And there are two different things really going on. A homeschooler usually has purposefully decided, for whatever reason, to take their children out of a school system, find a curriculum, and do their schooling on their own. And the coronavirus has decided for a lot of us that we are going to be teaching our children at home, at least for the next couple of weeks. And so there's a different dynamic happening there. So are you teaching your children at home because of the coronavirus? Well, I'm happy to help you. I have over 25 years of experience with helping homeschoolers and homeschool families and helping them to have a successful homeschool experience. And so I've written an article called, "Are You Teaching Your Children Because of the Coronavirus? Here's What You Need to Know." And I'll be putting that in the comments, the link in the comments. But I thought I would go over a few things today because a lot of you are getting your curriculum from your school district and you're getting help from your school district, which is wonderful. You're getting worksheets, reading books, a math curriculum. You're seeing what the children have been doing. Maybe they have art or history projects that they've been working on. And so you're getting to see what that looks like and helping them move forward on it. So you don't have to have your children getting 100% on all this stuff to be moving forward. So you have to have some realistic expectations and know what your school district is expecting. So are they giving you all the material at the beginning of the week? Do you have online help, email help from the teacher, or what are they expecting you to keep as far as your paperwork? So you need to make sure you know what your district is expecting and that you're keeping track of all that stuff so that they can make a good transition. You'll have all the papers when everybody finally gets back to school. So you want to make sure you know what your district is wanting when you're doing this teaching at home because of the coronavirus. Now, every family is going to look a little different. Your schedules are going to look a little different. Your work pages for other classes are going to be different, maybe even different than what you expected your children would be doing. So we have to work through all this to figure out how we can best help you. Now, I do recommend that everyone starts at the same time. Like everyone comes down for breakfast at 8 and gets started on their schoolwork at 8:30, and that you have a set place for that. So they may spread out later, but you start with a set place for getting things done first thing in the morning. And you go through, these are your work pages for the day. These are what I expect you to get done. I will be here to help you and facilitate this moving forward. And they may spread out to little spaces in the house later in the day, but you're going to do better if you're not running all over the house trying to find them, making sure they're doing their schoolwork, and then helping them, and then having to go back to go to somebody else and see what they're doing and making sure they're doing their work. So if you can have them all in one place, it really is going to help you out a lot. So you're going to set the expectations for the day, and you're going to have some kind of a schedule for the day. Now, we had some rules just to help manage that. My children had to have 4 subjects done by lunchtime, and one of those subjects had to be math. Well, partly I get tired in the afternoon and I don't like to do math in the afternoon, but research has shown that kids do better when they do their math in the morning, and that's why a lot of schools try to push math as a morning class. Just everybody's brain seems to work better in the morning. And then you want to start with your math, maybe writing and spelling, and you want to maybe finish the day with reading. Now, there is some research that shows that creative projects do better later in the day. Like that slumpy time in the afternoon can be a good time for creative projects like art, music, writing assignments. So you'll have to see exactly how that works with your kids, but you might want to think of creative things in the afternoon and more academic things in the morning. And then what are you going to do with break time? Are you going to, after every subject, are you going to give them a 20-minute break? It's not unrealistic to expect that they would do 4 subjects before they would get a 20-minute break in the morning. Now, if you have younger students, you might also have a snack time in the morning. And let me warn you, they will tell you that they are practically starving every second of the day, and you will do food prep all day long if you are not careful. So I recommend having a snack time at 10:30 in the morning, at maybe cheese squares and crackers, just something to get them through until lunchtime. And then you have lunch. You might have a 3 o'clock snack when they're mostly done with their school, and then they have supper. So otherwise, I will tell you, you will be cooking and fixing and pouring cereal, and they will be drinking all of the milk all day. Now, I just heard from someone that some school districts are delivering breakfast and lunches, or they're providing for breakfast and lunches still somehow with their students, which I think is very wonderful to help families that maybe one or more of the parents is not employed during this time. So make sure you stay in touch with your school district and see how they are handling meals if that's a need in your family. So then how are you doing grading? Are the teachers expecting you to grade papers? I have a whole article on how to grade papers if you need it, but I suspect that the school district is going to be supplying either answer keys or some way for you to grade papers and keep track of how the kids are progressing. Now, your kid does not have to do 100% on every paper to keep moving forward. At my house, I really tried to get the kids doing 85% on their work pages because I didn't want them missing too much, but most curriculums work in sort of a spiral. So they present an idea, the kids hear it, they work on it, it comes back around, it's presented to them again. And so there's layer upon layer of learning, and then they can move forward. So you don't have to feel like if my kid does not get it today, they're not going to get it, and they'll be doomed. Because as moms, of course, we want to have success for our students, and we wouldn't want that to happen. Now, if you're feeling super stressed out about teaching, there's a lot of resources through the schools, online. I have tons of articles. I have a phone consult. I can get on the phone with you and help talk you through things. I have a group, Homeschool with Confidence, you can join, and you can get more access to videos and additional help from me. But we want to make this a time not of extra stress in your family. Let's make it a time where you make some special memories, that you're intentional with your schooling, but you're also intentional with your fun. So we had a recess, a 30-minute recess after lunch, or game time after lunch that we did. And then we had 30 minutes of quiet reading time. And this was very important for me. The younger kids could nap or be quietly in their beds with their books, and the older kids could be reading somewhere, but it just had to be quiet, and that helped me to just manage my head and what was I doing next and what was for supper, and helped me manage myself a little better. I tried not to take phone calls in the morning and just said, you know, we're teaching during this time. I'm sorry, I can't take your call. Call me after lunch. And just sort of manage your time and prioritize that schoolwork so it doesn't stretch out all day long, because that can get old really quickly. From someone who's done homeschooling a long time, I don't like doing algebra at 7 and 8 at 9 at night because some kid has put it off. Now, if my children had trouble, that's okay. But if they're just putting it off and not doing their work, we were going to have trouble with that. So I really want to help you as you manage your time and you manage these subjects. Okay, so there's so many resources on the internet, right? You can always look up something on the internet. Well, you can get lost on the internet looking up stuff. So you might want to set a timer for 5 or 10 minutes and say, okay, we're going to find one resource that teaches finger positions on the piano and Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and we're going to do your piano lesson anyway. And so you set the timer for 5 minutes. Within 5 minutes, you pick one resource and you try that one, so you don't waste time. There's Art Hub for Kids, which is a great art resource if you need that. So I really think that would be a good one. I have some DIY projects. Pinterest has tons of DIY projects. But since you're trying to be intentional about your play and your time with your children, make sure you're doing some projects that you like to do with your children and share that love with them.